Good evening, this is the Oscar Expert here with Brother Bro, and it's time to review The Smashing Machine, directed by Benny Safdie. This is a biopic about UFC champion Mark Kerr, played by Dwayne Johnson, who is stepping into his most challenging and transformative role to date. Who other than Benny Safdie to tilt heads with his casting decision of somebody who people don't really associate with dramatic roles. Adam Sandler in Uncut Gems and Robert Pattinson in Good Time are a couple examples. And this is a pretty unconventional biopic as you might expect from Benny Safdie. I also feel that it's important to mention his work on The Curse that he did with Nathan Fielder, because both of these projects have a very detached and observational style. Like, you're a fly on the wall watching these odd characters.
I wouldn't say this was detached, though. I didn't get the feeling that they were trying to make me feel separate or detached from the situation. I thought, even though those are zoom lenses, they were pretty up and close and personal in especially the domestic scenes.
Yeah, but I also felt like I was observing him from the outside, watching him like a weird creature with like weird desires, and I'm not supposed to be identifying with those desires.
I agree that it's not like other sports biopics in where you are really rooting for the character to win. You just believe in their heart and you know that they have it in them. Like, I think this was a quite rounded portrait of a very vulnerable man who is often kind of sad in the way that he clings on to masculinity. His core defect is that he's incapable of taking a loss. So I guess we are kind of just looking at him going, this is a kind of bizarre person. I guess you're right in that sense. Also, a large character here is his wife, played by Emily Blunt, who is quite a firecracker, and we observe how neither of them are really able to meet each other's needs, and when they get going, when somebody picks a fight in just the slightest way, it blows up. And these scenes are actually pretty interesting to watch, because I think from a writing perspective, you can really observe how there's no sides when it comes to them. Like, they are both just wanting something that the other person is incapable of giving, and I found that quite interesting.
The fight scenes seem like they're really about their resentments coming out, which I think is how fights really do work in relationships. And in that way, I thought that the writing was actually pretty strong.
Well, in that way, I actually think the script is sort of a problem for this film. I could see many facets that Benny Safdie is interested in exploring with Mark Kerr as a person, with the wrestling world, with masculinity, with his wife, his relationship. And I feel like it does all of those things a little bit, but none of them so interesting that you come away from the film going, oh, I really understand what that wanted me to take away from it. Like, I talked to a lot of people after who were kind of confused, like, what was really the point of the film? And I kind of took it as like, well, I think this is sort of the point and this is sort of the point. But then I also wonder, if it is about those things centrally, then why didn't this happen? Or why didn't they explore this more? And why was there this kind of detour? Like, it does feel messy to me. It feels like first draft of a lot of the things that Benny Safdie is interested in, and then he didn't narrow it, he didn't hone it in to make it feel satisfying and like a complete story.
I wanted to feel Benny Safdie's burning desire to tell this story. Like, this is a film that he dedicated, years to, like, why this guy? Like, what is so interesting about this particular guy?
Yeah. I think the story should have been very much about him and his wife. The wrestling stuff can come secondary, and if it was about that centrally, they needed to explore his wife a lot more. She was a little bit shallow in the sense that she was just a very emotionally volatile woman. Like, it really could have gotten deeper into the characters, but maybe again, the point is that we're kind of observing. We don't really know what their like traumas are or why they are this way. And, as a wrestling movie, it is sometimes exciting. Like, I kind of can't look at the wrestling scenes too long. Like, I'll look away from the screen because someone's just getting fucking smashed. This character like doesn't care that he's hurting people, and you kind of learn about how in the wrestling world nothing is taken personally. The beatings people get are just in full pursuit of glory and glory only. If you came to see the UFC matches and that's what you're really interested in, I think there is something here for you. But it's also the kind of middle ground that the film treads between indie art house and audience film, where it's not clearly defined which category it's in. Like, it's a little bit of both, but it doesn't fully succeed in either category. Like, it's an okay character study, and it's kind of an okay film about UFC.
I mean, I feel like it's about a very American figure, a very masculine man who thinks that, like, winning just is what there is in the world. And I like that he's portrayed with this sort of vacancy. And I feel like The Rock actually plays him well in this way. He was just very calm and steadfast in his belief that, like, well, winning is just what there is in this world. Like, why would I not want to win? It feels like really, really good to win. It's very simple. And I think the movie's kind of a deconstruction of that. And so maybe that is what Benny Safdie really wanted to explore here.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was well done.
No, I could see some things that I really like. And so, actually, overall, the audience probably can't even tell whether I like this or not. I am recommending this. There are a couple things in here that I thought were really interesting. I liked the scenes between Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt, and I thought the examination of masculinity and the fragility therein was well done. Like, I think this film is well done overall. I think Dwayne Johnson did some really solid work here. It's his first major outing in an independent film, and I think this was promising for some work that he should continue to do. He should continue to go in this direction. It was a little apparent in some scenes when he had to cry and he would just cry into his hands that, you know, maybe this was a little challenging for him.
I'm not so sure that wasn't intentional, because that character just wouldn't let people see him cry.
Nah, but if I don't want people to see me cry, I don't go like this and then everyone knows I'm crying behind my eyes. Like, I would just like try not to have the tears go out or wipe them away fast. You know, it's not a normal thing to do. It is something that actors who are struggling, like, they feel like they have to do it. They'll cry into a shoulder.
I guess the best thing I could say again would be that I felt like I was watching like a real person. He didn't feel like Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just the makeup. I think he did disappear a bit into the role.
I mean, the makeup absolutely helped him out here, though.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how well it would have felt like he was disappearing without the makeup. Not that that's a critique of his performance, really, but I feel like a lot of the praise he's getting for this is partly because the makeup makes him disappear, and you don't feel like you're watching that Hollywood star that you are familiar with. And if I were, like, separating that out from the actual performance, like, I wouldn't call it, like, the best performance of the year. I wouldn't say it's, like, up there, but I would say it's very good. I think his best scenes are across from Emily Blunt, and they had some really strong chemistry here. And I think Emily Blunt's performance was very strong as well. Maybe the character could have used a little bit better treatment in terms of the script, but I think with what she was given, her performance was very believable as well.
Yeah, I think she made a lot of great choices throughout. I feel that her performance kept me on my toes with that character.
I wanted to know a little more about her, where maybe I could have seen some more layers in that performance, but I really like them both here.
But I feel like she also doesn't know herself that well, because she's just kind of succumb to a lifestyle that services this man, and maybe she doesn't really know much about herself anyway. Finally, I would shout out the score from Nahlas and Ephro. It's kind of a hazy ambient jazz score. Had a bit of a psychedelic quality that I think gave the movie some eeriness.
I agree that the score was cool on its own, but I don't know if it fit in the film.
I thought the drumming during the fighting scenes, it built a rhythm for each scene that was different from, the last.
Yeah, I give this a 7 out of 10.
I also would give it a 7 out of 10.
You want to talk Oscar prospects?
Are we seeing nominations for Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt here? I think the answer is maybe for both.
Yeah, I think the nomination this will most likely get is makeup.
I think that's gotta happen. I mean, it's
Yeah.
Kazuhiro. He's won Oscars before for transforming people in a similar way.
Yeah, I mean, that alone makes people think, oh, well, if it's getting makeup, then wouldn't, a lead actor nomination come along with it, since that's the person they're transforming? And I don't believe right now that this is going to be that competitive in that category, because, for a non-Best Picture film, and this is really, I don't think this is going to touch Best Picture. I don't think it's going to get close. I feel like he'll get nominated somewhere, and it might be scary because the SAG might do both him and Emily Blunt, and that would make people freak out and start putting them both in the predictions. I can see this kind of being like The Last Showgirl, where I got 2 SAG nominations and then didn't get the Oscar nomination.
I mean, I'll say this. It's not a conventional biopic, and I think audiences might feel some distance from it. It's not really audience friendly. People might be like, I don't really know fully what was the point there. But I think that biopic performances, especially with transformative makeup, can get into a movie that people just like.
Maybe the Academy's not going to just embrace the first indie turnout for Dwayne Johnson. You think you're just going to show up in here and you're just going to get yourself an Oscar nom because you got some makeup on your forehead?
Oh, wow. You did an indie film for once. Very cool.
Right.
Like,
Oh, is this your first time?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cute.
so, you know, it's not that, like, he's an underdog or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I think it does matter how well this does at the box office and how much audiences seem to care. It's coming out in early October, so
I feel like it's going to do well at the box office.
it may,
purely
because
based
Dwayne
on the star
Johnson
power.
yeah, I mean, that's the thing.
And UFC, a UFC film, UFC is super popular.
You can carry that kind of buzz if it's just a widely known performance with Oscar
Yeah.
buzz and makeup that's getting nominated.
It could be a little populist. Yeah, I don't want to discount it. I don't want to underestimate it. I will say I don't have it in for anything except for makeup at the moment, but I could definitely be proven wrong. I mean, I think supporting actress, I'm more tempted to put Emily Blunt in than him. 'Cause I
don't
feel
know.
like that category is just less crowded.
Not sure. I have them both right on the outskirts right now. We will have to see how that goes. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing.
How much money would it take for you to be put in a ring with Dwayne Johnson?